Welcome along. Have you ever wondered what's going on in their mind when a customer decides to buy from you or doesn't, for that matter? When I first learned all about the psychological steps that someone goes through when making a buying decision, it was like a light bulb moment for me because I could begin to see how I could actually influence their decision at various points on that journey. And of course, no one teaches us business skills in our university training as healthcare professionals. It's assumed that we're all going to rush off and work in the NHS or work for someone else. So for those of us who decide that we want to be our own boss, it can feel like there's actually a huge chunk of knowledge missing. In today's episode of Beyond the Clinic, I'm going to share with you the psychological steps of the customer journey, which I really hope will shed some light on this for you as much as it did for me when I first learned about it. Let's dive in. The journey that someone goes through from right at the very beginning, when they've never even heard of you, right through till after they've been a client and are then recommending you to all of their friends, is actually full of mini psychological steps that when you truly understand them, you can then start to optimize them, because this is what will ensure that your business attracts more clients and customers and makes more money and essentially becomes more successful. So these psychological steps, these are in every single sales funnel in every single business. And it's important for you to understand them because, believe it or not, people don't just stumble across your website or your social media pages and decide to buy. There's a journey and it's made up of 8 key milestones, and it goes a bit like this. It starts with attract, then educate, then engage, and then nurture, then invite, then delight, then expansion, and finally advocacy. So I'm going to break this down and go through each of these 8 key milestones one by one. So let's start with attract. This is how your business gets in front of new people who've never heard of you before. So it's all about visibility and what you do or what you say to attract potential customers. At this very early stage, your potential customer might not even know that they've got a problem. They may not be aware that they even need your help. So, for example, this might be you delivering a guest training for a colleague. As part of your talk, you might be educating them. So in my nutrition business, in The Children's Nutritionist, I might do an Instagram Live, for example, with a baby sleep coach where we're talking about fussy eating. And then the parents who are listening along, they're being introduced to me for the very first time. They may have a toddler at home who's a bit fussy with their food, and they certainly find this frustrating, but they don't actually understand the extent of the issue until I've talked to them about sensory and skill development and nutrition and growth, and given them some quick wins that they can go and implement straight away and see the impact. So after listening, this new audience might think, oh my goodness, that was actually quite useful. I'm going to follow her Instagram account for more tips and advice. So by doing this guest session, I have gotten myself in front of a brand new audience who I've attracted to start following me. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and do Instagram lives, but you do have to think about how you're going to get new eyes on your business actually every single day. So the second step in that customer journey is educate. So now that these new people are aware of your business and that they potentially have a problem that you actually might be able to help them with, they need to know more. This is where it's your job to provide excellent content so that they become further educated on their problem, but also your content needs to show them about you as a person, your credibility, your skills, your expertise, and also about you as a human. And actually, the best way to do this is through storytelling, because people remember stories. And of course, your education needs to provide evidence. This new audience member, they need to know that what you do actually works. So they need to see evidence in the form of case studies, testimonials, results, so that they become fully educated, knowing exactly how that you can help them. Step 3 is engage. Now these new people know you and they're beginning to like you through the stories that you're telling and the educational content that you're sharing. They begin to build trust. Now, if you have done your job well at this point and they like you enough, they'll want to keep in touch with you and learn more. And so they will give you their contact information, like an email address. And the purpose of this is so that you can engage in further conversation with them and they can deepen that relationship with you. Now, some people will love your stuff so much that they will happily leave their email address in exchange for your regular value packed newsletter, but other people won't. An email address has actually become a bit of a precious commodity, and so people don't part with them easily. If you think about it, there's so much spam in our inboxes these days. People are actually worried that they're going to end up with more, and so they tend not to give out their email address unless they can be absolutely assured that they're getting something really high value in return. So this is where incentives such as a lead magnet, or sometimes called a freebie, comes in really handily. But let me just say one thing. Your freebie, if you choose to have one, it needs to be awesome. It needs to deliver a quick win, and it needs to encourage the recipient to do something different, to change their usual behavior, so that if they implement this new way of doing things straight away, they're going to get a really positive result. Again, to give you an example from my business, The Children's Nutritionist, my freebie could be the exact process to follow at dinner time. And when the families do, there's no drama from their fussy eater who actually sits down and eats. Step 4 in this customer journey is nurture. Now, this is so important, and I think it's something that many business owners actually just don't realize. But since COVID and the explosion of information in the online space, it takes actually up to 28 touch points before a browser decides whether they want to work with you or not. And so it's your job to provide these touch points, and we do this through our content. So you need to be continuing to educate. You need to inspire, to entertain, to motivate, and form that deepening connection with your audience so that the relationship is nurtured and they begin to trust you enough to want to work with you. So, be it your social media posts or reels or lives or your website blogs or a podcast or a weekly video show on YouTube or your Facebook community group, or it could be webinars that you run or masterclasses or challenges, and of course, your consistent email newsletters. It's all of this that helps grow the familiarity and the trust and builds that relationship with your potential clients. I think it's worth saying here that people buy from people. And so hiding behind your words on a blog or in a social media post often isn't enough. Many people just need to see your face and they just need to hear your voice so that they feel like they actually know you. Okay, step 5. This is invite. So this is when you present them with an offer. You make an invitation to buy from you or to work with you. So some people will have developed that trust really quickly and they're going to say yes to your offer, but others won't have done so quickly. They'll take a bit longer and they'll need more of that nurture content before the time is right for them to make a buying decision. And actually, you know what? That is okay. Different people have different buying behaviors and different motivators. So just keep on building those relationships. Point 6, this step is delight. And this is all about making sure that those people who said yes and became your client get an amazing experience. Now, I am sure that if you are listening and you love being a healthcare professional, you will do this. However, I want you to think about how you can add value, how you can go above and beyond so that your client, no matter how much money they've spent with you, they feel like they're getting their VIP treatment. Of course, you also need to make sure that you deliver the results that they want to achieve from working with you. And part of this may be encouraging them to take action on what you've taught them or advised. This is so important because we want them to be successful, and we also want you to exceed their expectations, because if they are successful and they do feel this way, they're likely to become repeat customers, which leads us beautifully into step 7, which is expansion. So this is where your client becomes a repeat client. You might make them a second offer to cross-sell them into something different or upsell them into something complementary. And the reason why they say yes is out of loyalty. So when your client has formed a psychological bond with you, they're much more receptive to recommendations for additional products or services, and they're less likely to look elsewhere for their next level support, because starting with someone new holds a bit of a risk. It might not work. But something I find absolutely fascinating is that when your client discovers and purchases a second or a third product or a service that complements the initial thing that they bought, it activates the brain's reward system. And this little dopamine hit that they get is addictive, which actually encourages even more repeat purchasing. And then step 8, the final step in this customer journey, is advocacy. So this is where your customer or client tells their friends all about how amazing it is to work with you. And when they do, they actually do all the marketing for you, because the word of a friend is worth far more and has a higher perceived value than the word of a stranger. So advocating for a product or service or business that you like taps into several deep-rooted human psychological behaviors and emotions. When someone becomes an advocate for you, it's not just about them liking their experience. They've actually aligned your brand with their self-identity, sharing this is part of who I am now, their values and the desire to connect with others by passing over something of value to their group of friends. There's also another mini dopamine hit or sense of reward that comes with helping people by making recommendations. And actually, this makes your client feel really good. So I hope you enjoyed this mini sales psychology lesson, and it's given you lots of food for thought where you might be able to enhance your customer's journey. So just to recap, we've covered the 8 key milestones, which are attract, educate, engage, nurture, invite, delight, expansion, and advocacy. So what I would love for you to take away from this episode is just grab a pen and paper and half an hour of quiet time and just map out your customer journey. Do you have something for each of those key milestones, or actually are there some gaps? Now, if there are some gaps, make it a priority to fill those gaps. And as a result, I promise you, you will notice that you will get more clients and, of course, more money in your business. So join me next time where we are diving into the various different digital income streams that you can add to your health business, and more importantly, why it is absolutely essential that you do have them. So before we wrap up today's episode, I've got something extra special for you. If you're a healthcare professional like me and you love helping clients, but perhaps something is niggling away at the back of your mind, making you wonder whether you're actually working on the right parts of your business at the right time and in the right order. When you set yourself up in business, you probably quickly realize that we never got trained in marketing, and so you're likely struggling to be 100% sure about what to work on a day-to-day basis to make sure that your business grows. And if this continues, you might find that you spend too much time on social media or blogging, and actually it doesn't have the impact that you really hoped it would have. And you might end up wasting a lot of time hunting and pecking around the internet looking for guidance. And in the long run, it means your business doesn't grow. But it really doesn't have to be this way. So to help you overcome the indecision and get certainty and take decisive action, you can download my free resource called the Master Plan. This step-by-step sequential workbook is designed to walk you through exactly what you need to focus on and when, so that you can build a business that you've always dreamed of. You'll get my expert knowledge as a health business strategist, from the foundational steps so you can check you haven't missed any, to the advanced strategies for when you're optimizing and scaling. This guide really is your master plan to business success. So if you're ready to take your expertise to the next level and build your dream business, head over to saraharmondbushell.com/master-plan and you can download your free copy. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.